Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Empower Multimedia. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Empower Multimedia. It's your host Carl. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Now today we're going to be talking about the Lean Startup Model. The Lean Startup Model was created by a man named Eric Reis. Some may call him Eric Reis. Doesn't really matter. But he created the model to help aspiring entrepreneurs to kind of take an idea that they had from their head and help it become a reality. Now, the purpose of the Lean Startup Model is very similar to the methodology called Lean Six Sigma. Now, if you ever heard about Lean Six Sigma, and it's very similar to the Lean Startup Model because they both really deep dive into being as efficient as possible, really cutting down any wasteful processes and just to help you get the most value in the quickest amount of time. So the Lean Startup Model the purpose is to be lean, be efficient. And when I took my master's in entrepreneurship, my professor, who is also an entrepreneur, he actually runs a government contracting agency that does about 40 to 50 million a year. And so he knows what he's doing in terms of entrepreneurship. He basically explained to me that the Lean Startup Model is best used for tech-related startups. Now, the reason why he said that is because it stresses about the MVP. And we'll get into that further into the video. But with that being said, before we do start the video, typically the Lean Startup Model has 3 phases: build, measure, and learn. But you're going to see that I start with learn for a particular reason. So let's begin. So in terms of learning, I really just mean doing your research. So market research is very, very vital. You want to see what the competitors are doing. You want to see what their pricing is, what value proposition that they may have, what the industry is lacking, what might be new, aspiring novel ideas that may be put in the industry that could really change the foundation of what's going on. So then you also want to find the pain points of your potential customers. What I mean by that is you really want to interview as many people as possible that you think are ideal customers, and then see if they have any problems with the current solutions in the market. This is very vital because it takes the guessing out of everything. That goes into more of the lean aspect of it because you want to be as efficient as possible. Now, depending on how this goes, if you ask the right questions, you'll be able to find out if A, what you're thinking is even going to be necessary, or B, like you're onto something. So with that being said, really make sure that you ask the right questions, you interview people, at least 30 different people, and really find out who your ideal clients may be. Because what you need to understand is this is all assumptions. This isn't guaranteed, which is why you need to get out there and do the work. So once you get a kind of a good solid sample size, you then will be able to move forward onto the next step, and that is build. So once you want to build a minimal viable product, aka the MVP. And this is kind of what I was harping about in terms of the tech related comment that my professor made. Because of the MVP, which is essentially a prototype, that's why it's more tech based, because tech companies really harp on that mostly. So with that being said, you really want to really put forth an effort into making something that is really viable. And then once you actually have a workable MVP, you actually want to get your potential customers to actually use it, to see if it actually does anything that you claim it could do, to see if it actually brings value. And you want to keep doing this and start measuring how you're doing. So start measuring in terms of quantifiable results. Like, is your product faster than the other competitors? Is it more efficient than the other competitors? Does it help them save time? Like, find quantifiable things that you could really see how valuable you could be, right? So you could do split testing, you could do a lot of different testing, but once you actually gather a lot of data, you'll then be able to go to the 3rd step, in my case the 4th step, to learn again. And by learning again, I mean you'll be able to find out either A, if you should continue with what you initially thought, B, if you should pivot which by pivoting I mean tweaking your idea or your invention into something that you didn't really think of, but the market clearly needs. And then with that being said, once you're able to gather all the data and pivot, you should be on to better fortunes. Now, what's very pivotal about this aspect of the business is you don't want to fool yourself. It's very okay to be wrong. In fact, from my experience and from what I've seen just throughout the entrepreneurship realm, 90 to 95% of people are wrong off the bat. They kind of have something in mind, and then the market either rejects it or it says, hey, we actually want this, and they're going to have to pivot. Pivot is extremely vital in this entire process. And if you don't have to pivot because you hit it off the mark in the first try, lucky you. But if you do have to pivot, don't think of it as a failure. Think of it as you're one step closer to success. So with that being said, here's a quick summary. Learn, do your market research, build an MVP, measure to see if you're bringing any value, and then see if you need to continue or pivot. With that being said, this is your host, Carl, with Empower Multimedia. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe.